Blog Talk Radio.
So the Most High is going to stop the flowing of the people going into that country. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 51, the end of verse 44. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. Verse 45. My people, go ye out of the midst.
Hold up, read that again.
My people, go ye out of the midst.
I think within this chapter, he said flee and get out of her around 3-4 times. Right? Read.
My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Most High Ahiah. And let your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor. And
wars and rumors of wars. You're hearing about it, and because it's not happening, you think it's not going to happen. Read.
Verse 46, end of verse 46. And violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Verse 47. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come up unto her from the north, saith the Most High Ahiah. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so as Babylon shall call the slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember the Most High Ahiah afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind.
Listen to this clear. Ye that have escaped the sword, that means you escaped the destruction that coming to Babylon, go away and stand not still. So when you leave, remember the power or the God, Ahiah, afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. That's looking forward, not looking back. Now let Jerusalem come into your mind. She's finished. Right? Read.
Verse 51. We are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame has covered our faces, for strangers are coming to the sanctuary of the Lord's house.
Strangers have destroyed us. Strangers have destroyed our sanctuary, our belief. They destroyed our understanding so that we cannot connect to our God. They've given us their gods. Baal, Baal, Satan, the dragon, Moloch. These are the gods we've been worshiping ignorantly. Jesus, Zeus. Okay, we ain't know nobody named Jesus. Total madness. And then when we wake up and understand these things, we say, well, hold up. I'm a stranger here. You dragged me here. And the Most High starts reviving us. They be like, okay, we have one who's the extremist. You're a terrorist. Read on.
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 52. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High Ahiah, that I will do judgment upon her graven images.
He's going to destroy all your images and your idols. And man, if you even look at Washington, D.C., it's idol after idol, monuments of idols, obelisks, which is man's personal member. That's what an obelisk is. What's that, the Washington Monument? Idols every place. 5-pointed stars every place. But what if some did not believe? So what if you don't believe what we're teaching you? Paul asked, so what if some did not believe? Shall your unbelief make the faith of God without effect? You mean the Most High is going to stop his whole program because you don't believe something? No, you're dead. That's what you are. Okay? His program was before us. And it will be well after us. And that's for the people that's walking out there and say, well, there's wars all the time. There have always been these situations. Every few years this happens. Nothing is going to change. That's a dead man.
Shabbat Shalom, Barakatham, Matawada, peaceful Sabbath.
Bless you all, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Friday Night Sabbath, coming out of Babylon, here on blogtalkradio.com for the Gathering of Christ Church. This is your host, Brother Ramar Karab, and it is September 27th, 2013. Time is 4:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope everybody's had a great week so far, and going into the Sabbath at sundown. So I pray that everybody has a blessed Sabbath. I wasn't going to come on tonight, but I thought I would come on and make some announcements and just put out a little bit of information on the news, what's going on this past week, and what's to be expected going forward on some things. So probably about 30 minutes to an hour. We may go just to put some information out. All right, we have the Feast of Tabernacles coming up. Actually, tomorrow night at sundown is the beginning of the feast, so it's been a busy week trying to get ready and prepared, and it's going to be a busy weekend, and I know brothers and sisters out there, y'all also are getting prepared and everything, so for those that don't know, tomorrow night at sundown is the Feast of Tabernacles, 7-day feast. The first day is a Sabbath, so we have a Sabbath, of course, tonight from sundown to sundown. That's the 7th-day Sabbath of the week, every week. Then you have at sundown Saturday to sundown Sunday, the 25th day of the month. One moment here. Let's see here. Excuse me, the 15th day of the month, which starts the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Feast of Tabernacles. And it's 7-day feast. And then the 7th day, which will be next week on Friday night, Saturday night, is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, and that also is a Sabbath. All right, the other days in between are just regular feast days. So this week, definitely keep that in mind as you go about your week, being in worshiping the Most High in spirit and truth, that your mind is linked in with Him, with His holy days. As this is the last, major holy days of this month, and kind of the year. We won't have any other holy days until the end of the year, which is the Feast of Dedication in December. All right, so definitely want to, try to gather with those of like minds, and I know some brothers and sisters are out there. Y'all are getting tents and going camping and things like that to be able to be in booths, in remembrance and memorial of our ancestors. So that's a great thing. Also, it's key because going into the times that we're going to be going into, being that we are in the day of the Lord, as the scriptures refer to it, we know Christ's return is near, so there's a lot of prophecies that are going on right now and to unfold before His return. And living in tents, being as pilgrims upon the face of the earth, is something that is going to be here before you know it. Some people may be already living on the street in the tent. You have a lot of people out there losing their homes and things like that. So it's good to go ahead and rehearse these things now and prepare ourselves, so when it happens, it's not so much of a cold shock, or we don't go cold turkey into it. We're, already have ourselves prepared for it all. And so that's what's going on this week. And just before I say some more, what I want to go into here in a minute, I just want to give all praise to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of the Son, Christ Yeshua, to see another week and another Sabbath and Feast of Tabernacles also. It's always a blessing to make it to see these times. It's a blessing to be living in these times, the times that the prophets, all of those that were lived in righteousness wanted to live in this day, to see these times, to see the effects and signs that the Most High would show His power before He sent His Son to redeem us. So, we have a lot to be thankful for. I know a lot of people are always maybe down and out or complaining about what they don't have, but we need to count our blessings and look at the things we do have and be grateful. Be grateful to be able to have eat, be able to have shelter, have clothing. We got those things. That's the main thing. All the rest of the stuff is basically wants. They're not necessities. You have those around you, like minds, maybe in the church. Those things are blessings. Not everybody's in that position, so we need to count our blessings and be grateful and appreciative and humble ourselves. And these are those the Most High is going to redeem in these times. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what's happened this past week in the news and what's going on. Of course, last week we talked about the terror, the false flag terror in the Capitol, where you had a black man by the name of Aaron Alexis in Washington, D.C., at the Navy Yard close to Washington, D.C., supposedly go on a rampage and kill, 13 people and wound 15, injure 15 people, and kill himself. Talked about that last week, and how they're trying to shift this new brand of terrorism with a black face now, from Al-Qaeda to now black people being terrorists. This is the way that they need to go with this to be able to come after us, and what the scriptures refer to as Jacob's trouble. No sooner than we did the show, the following day, I believe you had a mall attack in Kenya, in Africa, another false flag operation, an event. And if anybody in today's time see these things happening and can't see them for what they are, or be suspicious about what's going on, if anybody out there is looking at the media and the government and listening to them and believing what's happening, it's really, really sad. It's a very high level of deception working, because when you look at these events, it's just a lot of things that just don't make sense. A lot of things, it doesn't even look real. Like, for instance, you had the mall shooting in Kenya, and I'm sitting there watching the news on it, and I'm looking at pictures and stuff, and it just doesn't look authentic. It looks kind of, these people look like actors, and how they're going about carrying on. You got this cameraman, the cameraman, I don't know how many they got. They're like paparazzis. They're like all in the right place at the right time. Everybody else is ducked down, hiding from this, these boogeymen in the mall, but yet the cameraman is all out in the open, getting these perfect angles and perfect shots, capturing everybody's, perfect moments, where you got a man who's hiding behind a pillar, and he's got his little daughter. She's can't be 2 or 3 years old, running to try to get behind the pillar with him, and the cameraman perfectly captures the moment, and he's out in the open, taking this picture. It's just like, seriously, without even seeing it, already your mind thinks false flag, but when you see it, you're just like, really? You're just looking at this. And throughout the whole situation, not one time do you see anybody dead, any dead bodies. You don't see any footage or pictures of any so-called terrorists, nobody that's there in a gunfight with. You see people with blood on them, but you see no wounds. Like these people are bleeding, but where's the wounds at? Like, you see no wounds. Okay, that they got the blood from other people, then where are these other people they got shot or that have wounds. You don't see it. All you see is just some people falling out who have no wounds at all that are being carried. I mean, it's just weird. You got people with their hands up, kind of, walking slow, almost like, you're looking, okay, this looks like a drill almost. But lo and behold, you have the same day, I believe, or the day before, you had at a college in California, you actually had a live drill going on at this college where they were like reenacting or acting out a shooting drill, where what would happen if a shooter hit the campus and how would they respond. So they had police on the scene, and everybody was operating in like a normal emergency situation to try to see how it would be handled. You had actors on the scene that were acting like they were injured and hurt. So they're actually showing you on the news that they are doing these events in this type of fashion to where they are acting. So they put it right in your face and tell you, yeah, we do these type of drills and have actors, crisis actors, and police that come on the scene and actually try to neutralize somebody who's a so-called terrorist doing this shooting at this college. You have, if you just go on YouTube and look it up, you'll see it's like actual news footage. It's like an actual local news station where showing this footage, and then you're just looking at it like, okay, this looks almost exactly like what the footage you see that happened in Kenya. I mean, you have a lady and her child laying on the floor supposedly in Kenya trying to hide from these terrorists, but yet you have a cameraman, he's up in the ceiling getting this perfect view of them, on the ground. Like, what is this cameraman doing up in the ceiling taking this footage? They're hiding, but yet he's chilling up on the roof somewhere, or he's chilling up in the ceiling somewhere taking these, footage. This is live footage. This is like a quick snap. I mean, all the pictures you don't have any blurry, typically if there's this much chaos going on, you're going to have some blurry pictures or blurry footage. But everything is crystal clear, high definition. And then they bring on these people. Of course, it happened at an international mall, a mall frequented by foreigners, people from Britain and America. They had to do that so then they could drag in that element and say, okay, well, this is something that's happening to our citizens or happening, to American people in foreign countries, to get you scared not to go to a foreign country. You have that happening, and then you have these people come on the news talking about, yeah, I was so scared for my life. I'm just so happy I made it out. These people come on talking. And the crazy part about this event is that it lasted for days. It lasted for 5 days. So they drug it out for a long period of time, where it was supposed to be a shootout between the military. You had the military; they were there in their army fatigues. There was supposed to be a shootout between them and these terrorists, these so-called terrorists, for 5 days. And at one point, you had an explosion. You had an explosion in the mall. You could see smoke in the horizon. Now, when you look at this mall, you'll see that there are British and Israeli businesses in this mall. And these were some of the businesses that went up in smoke in these flames. Like they had banks and stores and things like that. So this serves twofold. For one, of course, Britain and Israel can come in and say, okay, this is an attack on us. If you attack our stores, even if it's in a foreign country, it's still an attack on us. So they can declare it as an attack on them. And two, you also have the fact that these stores are insured. So at the same time, what happened with 9/11, where you had Silverstein he actually took out an insurance policy like a week or maybe a few months before the towers went down. And so once the towers did go down, he was able to capitalize on the insurance on those towers and make, billions and billions of dollars on that whole false flag that happened on 9/11. So the same thing that we could say for Kenya is that these, these Jewish elite now are able to, they can benefit twofold. They can have people scared and terror. Oh, it's an attack on us as a people in our country, even though it happened in a foreign land, and they can capitalize from a monetary standpoint also. And even up until now, they're still talking about this event, even though it's been over. They still got them on the scene, the news on the scene, going over all the things that happened. I mean, they're just dragging this thing on and on. Now, they ended up supposedly catching these 11 guys. Supposedly 11 guys they caught, but haven't seen any pictures, haven't seen any footage. Like, where are these guys at? Who are these people? News comes on, well, we can't identify them because they're kids. And, they don't have any identification. The prints might not match up. Boo-doo-woo. And I'm just like, kids? You mean to tell me kids carried out a terrorist attack in Kenya at a mall for 5 days and caused an explosion? You mean they were capable of carrying all this out? These are some of the questions that you must ask yourself. Like, seriously? And it's supposed to be some new terrorist faction of Al Qaeda. I think it's called Al-Shabaab or something like that. And so this is a Somalian Al Qaeda faction. So a black, because of course Somalia is in Africa. So now the new Al Qaeda is African black people. You see how they switched that quick? Now here's a key part. Here's a key part. They came out on the news and said, the government also said through their investigation, that some of these involved suspects could have been Americans, meaning that they were being trained in America and then flown in to Kenya to commit this act. All right, so again, as soon as you hear this should pop into your mind what this is all about. All right? Train domestic terrorists in America. They carried out in a different country. Now there's terrorism worldwide, and now there's terror in the homeland. Now we got trained domestic terrorism in America, Al Qaeda linked domestic terrorism in America, to go along with Aaron Alexis, which happened in D.C. So you have the conventional domestic, and you have the Al Qaeda domestic in America. Now these particular so-called terrorists that were trained in America, they're saying were in Minnesota. Another red flag should pop into your mind. Minnesota is home of the world's largest mall. I believe it's called the Mall of America. And, of course, this was a mall attack. And they've been saying for a long time that a terrorist attack was going to hit the mall in Minnesota. And, of course, you've had a lot of people saying that be on the lookout for a false flag at the mall in Minnesota. I think they've even done drills at the mall in Minnesota for a possibility of some type of attack that would happen there. And it's got some of the highest security in the world when it comes to that mall. All right, so again, this is perfectly fitting their narrative and invoking fear in people. You got Obama giving a speech at the UN convention, and you have Senator McCain, all these politicians coming out talking about, now we can see that terrorism is alive and well. We just know that it's bigger than we thought. They gives them a perfect platform to come out and start, saying that we have a long way to go with terrorism still. It's a long fight, invoking this fear in the people, fear-mongering, and why we need to go to war to fight these terrorists. We need to go to war. Remember, what was it, like a year ago, Coney 2012, when they came out and said this guy Coney was in Africa terrorizing people and killing people and doing all, he was a terrorist, and they needed to go into certain parts of Africa and find this guy, and you had like a uprising of people come out against this whole Coney 2012 campaign that they had fabricated, and you could see that they were definitely engineering to get this guy, and then come to find out that people had been saying that, you know, this guy maybe had been dead for 5 to 10 years. So they were talking about going in and looking for a ghost. But again, that's all they need is the pretext. They need to put in your mind that, okay, this is what's going on, and this makes sense why they need to do what they're going to do. This is how the minds of the American people think. You know, okay, well, it's for our safety. They're you know, want to make sure that we stay safe here at home. So go and send drone strikes and send military troops into these African countries now. We are already in, you know, America's already in the Middle East. Now let's go ahead and send them into Africa. So now what do you got? You got drone bases in Nigeria and in Niger now. All right, you got drone bases and military from France and America set up in Niger and Nigeria. Now you got this situation going on in Kenya and in Somalia. All right, so they're just slowly but surely hitting different parts of Africa, and so they can start bringing troops in, American troops, European troops. All right, so, you know, we want people to see how this narrative is quickly shifting from the Al-Qaeda that you're used to seeing that are Arabs to the new Al-Qaeda, which is now Africans and black people. All right. I mean, there's so much more to talk about when it comes to the whole situation. You know, but of course, if you want to know more, you can always just go online and search and look, and you'll see plenty of stuff out there on this, and you can probably read between the lines without looking at other people who are exposing the holes in all of these stories and in these events. There's plenty of people out there exposing it for being fake, but you can probably see the fakeness in it without looking at their work. I mean, it's that obvious. It's that ridiculous. So then you also had the Aaron Alexis video footage released this week. So they show him, or, you know, a car drive up into this building, into the parking garage. And then they show him walking around some building, and it's like the building is abandoned because all the parts of the video, it shows him, there's no people around him, and he has a shotgun. So it's like he's just wandering around. You would think in this type of a building, he would be passing people. I mean, he's just going through regular doors. There's no type of doors where you have to swipe a badge or scan. It's supposed to be a high-level building. They're talking about, oh, well, he stole a security badge. Well, when you look at the video footage, he's walking in and out of doors without needing any security or security badge to scan. And you don't see not one time of him shooting on anybody or shooting a gun, period. You just see him walking around like he's lost in this building with a gun. So it's just like, really? Like, this is what they're really showing us as proof that this is what happened? Another thing you would think, okay, this is a high-level military security level type place. Typically on these cameras, they have the time and the date, and then you don't see that. There's no time and date stamp. So how do we even know that this happened on that what the video footage we're seeing even happened on that day? Who's to say it wasn't filmed in an abandoned building somewhere? And they were having him, because he kept talking about how he was hearing things and low frequency waves were coming through the walls, and he could tell that somebody was, people were following him and things were going on. How do we not know that they were, putting him through this situation? Like maybe he was in a drill. He was in the military. And, it just, when you see the movie like Born Identity, it just seems like something out of one of those movies to where, these people are being programmed and manipulated to doing things, only to find themselves in a live crisis acting situation where it goes live, where it's a drill that goes live, and they end up dead, like the Sarnoff brothers and the Boston Marathon bombing that happened. All of these events, when you look at them all, it's just a lot of things just don't make sense. So there's a high level of deception that's being implemented in the earth right now to deceive the masses so that they will accept this coming New World Order when they're ready to roll it out full scale. They need the people to be able to beg for this order, to beg for the government to save the day, to be for Obama to come in and be the savior. Just rid us of these terrorists, just save the day, save us from these natural disasters and what's coming and all of these things. So this is what they're putting out, so they can come in and be the good guys and the saviors. All right. Now, speaking of natural disasters, another thing that's heavy in the news or people are talking about right now is you got a lot of people talking about this Comet Ison, Planet Nibiru, and Planet X. And I want to read a script. I want to read some scriptures when it comes to that. I'm going to read some scriptures here. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 10 when it comes to these planets that are supposed to be coming to hit Earth, and these asteroids and comets. And when you go to Jeremiah chapter 10 and you go to verse 2, it says, let me start at verse 1. Jeremiah 10 and 1, it says, "Hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." All right, so hear this word. It's something we need to hear. The Most High is telling us. "Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." So that's particularly what you see a lot going on, is the other nations talking about this Comet Ison and Planet X and Nibiru. They're the ones that are focused in on these things coming, in the sky. When the Most High said that the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven, and that we should not learn their ways and be dismayed as they are. The Most High did not create these things. He didn't create comets and planets and asteroids and all these things. All those things are made up. These are, science. So what science tells us is out there. Also talk about solar flares, the sun. Solar flare is going to happen, and it's going to wipe out it's going to be like an EMP across America and destroy the American power grid. Well, lo and behold, they have an event. I believe we read this article 2 weeks ago where they're having a drill for the event the power grid goes down on the whole East Coast, like the northern East Coast. So they're going to be actually simulating a power grid failure on the East Coast in November, and they said that it could even happen sooner. It could happen way before the date that they have it set for. All right, so you have that, and you got, in the same time, you got the scientists working behind the scenes and in the news talking about solar flares. You got these guys that come on and say, yeah, the sun is doing this and it's doing that. These are all lies. All right, these are all lies. They have Project Bluebeam, and they have HARP. They have the ability to manipulate what you see in the sky, fallen angel technology to make you see stuff that's not really there. You also, when you see fireballs and things coming out the sky, coming to the earth, those are also fallen angels. All right, Christ told us in the end days, it will be like the days of Noah. So you must understand, well, what was going on during Noah's time? Understand, in Noah's time, you had angels that came down out the Watchers. They're called the Watchers in the book of Enoch. They came down, had sex with women. So the same way Lucifer came down from heaven, it said he looked like lightning shining through the sky. It's the same with these fallen angels. They show it in movies like Superman, where Superman is this fireball coming out the sky, coming to earth. It's a fallen angel. All right, Superman is a fallen angel. So when it comes to these signs in the heavens, let me get another scripture here. All right. Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21, verse 5. It says here, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And when it talks about signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, these are the signs of when the sun goes black and the moon goes black and the stars go black right before Christ's return. Everything is going to go black. And the only light you'll see in the sky is Christ. All right. And then it says, and upon the earth distress of nations, meaning there's going to be great tribulation in these different countries in the world, distress of nations with perplexity. So it's going to be perplex. Let me see here, or quandary. You know, great terror and tribulation, to have no way out, to be at a loss. This is what this means in the Strongs. Dire situations, all right? And then it says the sea and the waves roaring. So we know there's going to be tsunamis with these earthquakes. When you have an earthquake, you have a tsunami. So it says the sea and the waves roaring. So you're going to have all of that going on. Verse 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So the scriptures is letting us know that people are going to be looking up in the heavens and fearful of what they see in the sky. Now, in particular, the heavens shaking is talking about, when it talks about the powers of heaven shall be shaken, is that war that's going to go on in space between Christ, the angels, and all the fallen technology that's up in space now, that they're putting up military space stations, preparing for Christ to come back. So when you see that going on up in the heavens, that's when you're going to see the height of men's hearts failing them for fear, what's going on up in the heavens. But also leading up to that, they're going to already condition you of stuff coming out the sky, to fear the skies. They got a show on TNT, Fallen Skies, and then it says fear the sky. So they're already conditioning you of some type of celestial or extraterrestrial entity coming out the skies, whether it be comets or asteroids or planets or aliens. All of this is fallen angels and their technology. All right, so when people start talking about these comets and things, solar flares, just be careful that you don't get caught up in that, because that's not in the scripture. That's scientists coming out saying all these things. We know these scientists are wizards. All right, we know the scriptures tell us to not give heed to science, falsely so called, in Timothy, because it's not really science. It's witchcraft. All right, true science is what Abraham had, and all the patriarchs. They had true science. But what they got today is witchcraft. It's not science. You may have certain elements here and there, scarcely within today's science, but it's very, very, very small amount. All right, verse 27 says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So after this war in heaven, and the sun and the moon and the stars all going black, then you're going to see this light coming out the sky, out the atmosphere, this great light that the whole world is going to see, which is Christ. All right. So we are not to be dismayed at what's going on up in heaven, because the heathen are dismayed. They're the ones that are carrying on about all of these things coming. The only thing we should be concerned with, what the scriptures just told us, Christ coming out the sky. We shouldn't be talking about anything else coming out the sky but Christ. All right. We're going into the most wicked time of the year for the occult. you have October 1st coming up, which is the first of the year. We talked about the October 1st deadlines for FEMA and FEMA Region 3. And, you have the Halloween, the pagan holiday of Halloween coming up October 31st. So, it's about to get jump-started with these spirits coming out in droves, and the masses giving their body up as host to these spirits and conjuring up these demons to be on the rampage during this occultic pagan time of the year, Halloween and Thanksgiving and then Christmas. All right, so we know we're going into some deep dark time of the year, and with all the things that they're talking about happening this last quarter of the year, the fourth quarter, we know it's pointing towards something major happening, something really major, and particularly in America. You have Obamacare, early enrollment, October 1st. So here in just a few days, Obamacare will be here. All right. So I'm pretty sure there's nurses and doctors and people like that are out there that can attest to what they're seeing going on at their job with, and even people that are just going to work regularly. They can see what's going on with the paperwork and for the insurance and how things are changing. So the only thing I can say is, it's going to come a point in time where they're going to start making things involuntary. Where it's going to be mandatory, and they're going to make people try to do things like take vaccinations, and of course we know the mark of the beast. So we have to prepare ourselves, and we should have already been in the process of unplugging from the matrix. Well, now it's even more on a higher level to where when they come and say, hey, look, you got to do this, we got to take a stand and say, I'm not doing it, and be ready to make changes in your life. Our lives are about to change and never be the same all over the world. And for a lot of people that are comfortable in America, life's about to get uncomfortable. We got to prepare ourselves for these changes so when they happen, we're already ready for it. All right, so Obamacare is definitely a really huge thing that's going on October 1st. And something to look forward to, because there's been a lot of talk in the news talking about government shutdown. They're trying to defund Obamacare. You have certain people in the Congress and House of Representatives and Senate that are saying, we don't want Obamacare and we're going to fight back and we're going to defund it. And they're talking about, will the government shut down mid-October? We talked about we read an article a few weeks back about that happening, where they, 2 or 3 months prior to even coming, they were talking about the American government would be out of money, and they'd have to raise the debt ceiling again, raise the debt limit again, in order to keep things going. So, all of these things happening at once. Them talking about, Comet ISON and Planet Nibiru supposed to be hitting this time of the year also. What they say, like October, November, it's supposed to be hitting, and solar flares. And we talked about Janet Napolitano, the former Department of Homeland Security, DHS, saying that on her way out, America will see a cyber attack and a natural disaster, guaranteed. She said it's not a matter of if, but when. And that whoever is going to fill her shoes and come in and replace her is going to have to be prepared to deal with these threats, a cyber attack and a natural disaster. So they're already telling you what's coming. It's like, how can you predict these things? How can you predict a natural disaster? All right. How can you predict these things? It's because they're behind it. They have the power, and they've been briefed that this is what is coming. These people are high-level occultists. So they're given the deep-level secrets on the agendas and what's to come. And, you've had I believe, in Yellowstone National Park, you've had some tremor activity, like the fault lines in the whole area of Yellowstone here lately has been more active than normal. So you can say that their HAARP is, getting that ramped up. And we know, at least I've seen some research that says if Yellowstone erupted, just the eruption of Yellowstone itself could take out 2/3 of America just through the ash that comes out of the ground. It would basically pollute like the air and the ground, and 2/3 of America would pretty much be, affected and destroyed by it. We have, I think there's like a 7.7 earthquake in Pakistan, and they're saying that with this earthquake, a new island rose about the sea. These are strange things that are happening. So if anybody is saying that, oh, it's normal, these things have always happened, these people are going to be in serious trouble when this thing hits, because the scriptures talk about these people. They say, oh, Christ isn't coming back. These things happen all the time. He could come back any day. Who knows? It could be, it could be hundreds of years from now. But an island coming out to sea from an earthquake. And what that kind of reminds me of is the story of Atlantis. Okay, we know an earthquake destroyed Atlantis. Now you have an island coming out to sea from an earthquake. All right, so you just have some real strange things that are happening and that are on the calendar as a shadow of things to come, with everything. So I just want to, kind of put the information out for brothers and sisters to, this is the time to be vigilant and be sober. I say it all the time. This is not the time to be out playing and acting like everything's fine. Doesn't mean that you can't have a good time. It just means that there's a time and a place for everything. And right now, we need to be 100% linked into the Most High to be accounted worthy to escape what's coming, because they're setting up traps all over the place. All right, just like they did in 70 A.D. when they surrounded the city. They set up a trap to trap our people and to take them down and kill them. So it's the same thing now. They're setting up traps in place to take us down. So we had to be mindful of these traps and these snares, and and have the wisdom, through keeping the commandments, so that we know how to avoid and to get ourselves out of these situations. So that the Most High will guide us and be with us through this tribulous time. The same way as he was with our people in old, the way he led our people out of Egypt, and he showed us the way then. The same way he led Lot out of Sodom and Gomorrah. The same time the angel came to Christ and warned Christ as a child, Mary and Joseph, to flee to Egypt from Herod. The same way Christ warned the disciples, hey, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, when you see all these things happening, know that the desolation thereof is nigh, spoken by Daniel the prophet. And you better get up out. You better flee into the mountains. Flee up out of here. Get up out of the city. And we have the same prophets that have warned us about what's to come, to the world and to America. All right, so let's stay focused. Let's be focused in these times and not get caught up in what other people are out there getting caught up in. I actually want to read another scripture here. All right, I want to read Romans chapter 13, verse 11. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep." So for everybody that's out there that might be sleeping or maybe being lackadaisical with this walk, it's time to wake up. It is high time, knowing the time. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed. This was Paul 2,000 years ago writing this. When Christ came, he said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. When you go out teaching, teach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We are near. So if he was saying that 2,000 years ago, best believe as we get closer, I mean, as you know, it's been that long how close we are now, and these birth pangs of tribulation increase daily. Our salvation is nearer than we believe. Tomorrow's not promised, especially in these times with all the crazy stuff happening. You want to make sure that you're on the right foot with the Most High so that when the judgment comes, you can be seen as righteous. You can be seen as worthy. Not just to try to live to see another day, but if you don't live to see another day. I know a lot of times we live like, hey, I'm invincible, or I'm young. You know, I got a long life. Hey, people die young all the time. I'm pretty sure everybody knows somebody that died young. Verse 12, the night is far spent. The day is at hand. All right, so it's not nighttime anymore. It's daytime. Nighttime is for sleeping. And the daytime is for work. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. So when we were in the world, we were operating in darkness. When we were, you know, in the matrix, we were plugged in. We were thinking everything was real. That was the works of darkness. But now that we've come out of the matrix, we've come out of the world, Scripture says, let us put on the armor of light. What does that mean? Verse 13. Let us walk honestly, as in the day. So we have to walk honestly. We have to be truthful. We have to be honest with ourselves, first and foremost. We have to be honest with others. We got to be honest with the Most High. I think a lot of times people do things and be like, okay, well, such and such won't know. I can get away with it. Not knowing the Most High and his angels are looking the whole time. Like, it doesn't matter that they're looking. I just don't want to look bad in other people's eyes. So as long as I don't look, you know, bad in their eyes, it's okay. Not knowing that grace is there for us. If it wasn't for that, we all would have been dead. All right, so we must walk honestly, not in rioting and drunkenness. All right, you got a lot of people talking about, I'm about to get turned up, or I'm about to do the fool this weekend. You know, out, you know, dealing with a lot of debauchery and this type of behavior. You know, in a frenzy, which is the spirit of Bacchus. Not in rioting and drunkenness, out getting drunk, whether it be physically drunk or spiritually drunk. Not in chambering and wantonness. So let's get that word chambering for those that may not know what that word means. Chambering means cohabitation. Cohabitation in the Strongs. Let me pull it up in the dictionary. Chambering. Okay, let me see here. So basically, it's dealing with a chamber. A chamber, like it says here, male sperm. So or bed, chambering, conceive. So basically, in a promiscuous manner, where you're always laid up, you know, being a whoremonger or a whore, all right, or gluttony. That's what drunkenness is also. And it says, and wantonness. Wantonness. What does wantonness mean? Licentiousness, filthy, lasciviousness, wantonness, always wanting stuff. I want this, or I got to get the new iPhone 5C. I got to get the new PlayStation 4, the new Xbox One. I got to get all of these things. All right, you shouldn't be wanting to get all of these things. You can't take them with you. The world's about to go away, and your mind is every day I live. This is what I live for. You got people that live standing in lines for hours and days just to get the new whatever it is, iPhone or game system or whatever, especially during the times of Christmas. So the scripture tells us not to be like that, not in strife and envying, meaning you can't be always looking to fight with people and argue with people and be in contention with people in these days. You're not walking in the spirit of the Most High. You are distracted. The enemy has you right where they want you if you're walking like this. And envying, meaning that somebody else got something. You know, of course, you got the TV up, you got billboards everywhere putting it all in your face. You know, the new Benz, you know, the new Jordans, the new Coach purse, whatever. That person got it. Oh, I want it. You see it, I got to have it. You're envious of what they got, not knowing they're in the world. And, you know, the world loveth its own. So we shouldn't be loving, you know, that lifestyle. You know, we got bigger things to be focused on than trying to get these materialistic things that the world is putting this image of the beast in our face every day. This is what you got to have in order to have status, in order to have that American image. All right, and also precept into that is 1 Thessalonians 5:4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness. All right, so we're not in darkness. That day should overtake us as a thief. So we should not be unexpected when these things happen. When these events start happening and things are going on, we're in the light. We're awake. We should know what's going on. We shouldn't be surprised. That's what it means to be taken like a thief. When a thief comes into your house and surprises you and breaks in and steals your stuff in your house, maybe puts harm to you and your family. All right? We should not be caught up with what their agenda is, because we should already be hip to what's going on. Verse 5, ye are the children of light and the children of the day. Same thing we read in Romans 13. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as others do, as do others. All right, but let us watch and be sober. So if other people want to sleep, if they want to stay plugged into the matrix, hey, that's fine on them. That's what they want to do. That's their choice. But we should be watching and be sober. We should be paying attention to what's going on, looking at them, and be 2 steps ahead of them instead of them being 2 steps ahead of us. And we can only do this by being sober. You can't be this way if you're drunk or overconsumed with this life and gluttonous, surfeiting and wantonness and chambering. All right, so just wanted to put that out. Again, like I said, we weren't going to do really a show tonight, but I just wanted to make those announcements and, you know, let everybody know that hopefully next week we can get on back to our normal routine of the Wednesday and Friday night show after we've, you know, celebrated the feast days, and a lot of the preparations and things that we've gone through for this month are behind us, if it be the Most High's will. All right, so tomorrow we have the Sabbath class on Ustream. For those that don't know, the Ustream address is www.ustream.tv/channel/THE-GOC-church. and usually around 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern is when the class starts, hosted by Elder Ricard and Lawyer. And then after that, you have Gabar Yasha Allah out of New York at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so I don't know. I guess if anybody has any comments or any questions before we end the show, you can definitely chime in now. The guest calling number is 646-200-4309, and you can just press the number 1. It'll put you in the call queue, and we'll take some calls before we end the show. All right, let me go ahead and go to the first caller here. Got a caller from the 267 area code. 267. You're on the air.
I didn't think I'd get in that fast. Hi.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. This is Sister Carol. How are you, Brother Lamar?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Just ready for the feast tomorrow.
What was I going to say to you? I wanted to just really tell you to have a blessed feast day, and I did want to tell you some of the things that were on the news in reference to that gentleman. You're right there. It did look pretty staged. People don't believe us when we say that it looks staged. I don't know why, but when they showed him running down that hall, it was ridiculous. But, he kept saying that he was being treated with those microwaves. Now, we've heard that before, that's how they kind of control your brain is with those types of waves, from my understanding.
Right.
And then, of course, they had all that writing on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
This is my ELF gun and all that crap. So every day we get something new. Every morning we get a brand new piece of evidence that he's
new piece of the story.
And then with this, what's that thing called? With the stopping the government and all that. I know that's just so fake. That's so fake, them sitting up there and acting like they're having arguments and all of that. It's so fake. What
was this?
With the closing of the government and everything over Obama.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's a stage show.
Every time I turn around, every time that ceiling comes up, they do that every time. And they know they're not going to, even if they shut it down, it'll be for a day or two. It won't be like it was with Bill Clinton, because those people will go crazy. But anyway, you were talking about that thing in Minnesota or something like that. The Yellowstone Park, was it?
Well, the Minnesota, I was talking about the Great Mall of America, the biggest mall in the world. They were saying that terrorists that were in Kenya, there were like 3 American terrorists that were supposedly, trained in Minnesota domestically, and then they went to Kenya and carried out what they did there to shift over to America as domestic terrorists. Now, in America, to justify the spying, the NSA spying that the government's been doing for decades, and with the Yellowstone, I was just saying, I was in the news saying that early this week they were talking about a lot of seismic activity going on around the Yellowstone Park area.
Oh, okay.
All these earthquakes. I think you had like 2 major earthquakes this week, like 2 7 points. I know one was in Pakistan. I can't remember where the other major earthquake was.
Right, I don't remember either, but I know you're right, it was 2. But there was one more thing I wanted to tell you. Bill Clinton was on television the other night, and he said, I lost somebody very close to me in the Kenya mall thing. So I'm saying to myself,
wow, really?
Maybe that's why they did it, because they were trying to kill that person. Because he said that, I just took pictures with her the other day. She was pregnant, she was with her husband, and they got killed. And, they'll do things like that when they want to kill somebody.
Right, a perfect excuse to take somebody out. Just say, okay, well, they got caught up, and it's unfortunate, but the whole time they had it set up to where like, hey, you want a free trip, and it's it's a government paid for a trip or a company paid for a trip to such and such place, and then they'll have them someplace ducked off, and then say, okay, well they got killed. They must have got killed at the mall, and knowing it wasn't even the case. I mean, it's just so many different ways that they go about doing what they do to justify it, and we'll just tie it in with that and say that's how they died.
Yeah. That's really all I wanted to tell you. That was the main thing, because when I saw him on the television, I said, this is so funny. Anyway, have a good feast.
Okay, you too.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way up to be with Elder Gabar and them. I don't know if they're going to have Saturday. Did he say they're going to have Saturday at 3:30?
I don't know, but just in case, I just put it out. For people that may tune in, it may be on, but yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, okay. All righty. Have a good feast. Okay, bye.
You do the same. Shabbat shalom. All right, let's go to the next caller. We have 434 area code. You're on the air. 434 area code. Are you there?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, how you doing, Elder? I just got a couple of questions for you. One, I wanted to try to get your take on Leviticus 19 and 27. I've heard a lot of different ways to. I don't want to say interpret, but I've heard a lot of different people comment on that scripture in different ways, and it's about. Let me go ahead and read it. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. Now, is that specifically talking about cutting hair completely off as far as beard or as far as your hair goes? I know there's a difference. I'm assuming there's a difference between somebody that takes a Nazarite vow and somebody that doesn't.
Where are you at? Give me the chapter and verse.
It's Leviticus 19 and 27.
All right, let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Leviticus 19
and 27.
And 27. All right, so I'm going to read it here. Leviticus 19:27. You shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Verse 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Most High. So when you go into the actual context of this scripture, what this is talking about, you've seen like the movie Apocalypto, right? When they were shaving their head to where they were shaving it for the dead. They were doing human sacrifice, the Moloch. They would shave their head to these gods and for the dead, and they would have like hair in the back of their head, but it would be shaved all around the sides. It says, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So when you look at that word mar, it means to destroy. To destroy or decay, ruin, corrupt, which links into the next part, verse 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh. So what you see is you see a lot of Hamites. What they'll do is, when they put those bones through their mouth, and have those weird looking lips and things and stuff going through their cheeks and through their beard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's going into, because all of those are for the dead. That's why it says you should not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead. So that's what they're doing. Those are actual pagan rituals and customs to the fallen angels, the Nephilim, all of that. And you can also see it like when you go to the times of the Egyptians when they were ruling, they would do the same thing. They would they would shave their beard, and then they would have those goatees that go straight down. And all of this was in honor of those gods and the Nephilim, and they would shave their head bald. That's what the scripture's talking about. It's talking about doing all of these things for the dead and these rituals. So it's not talking about just cutting your hair, period. Like don't cut your hair. Like you have to never cut your hair. No, a Nazirite took an oath not to ever cut his hair. So it's not what it's talking about.
All right, I appreciate that. And one more is if I had more questions about migration, I just emailed the church about that to get a response.
Say that again.
Oh, I said if I had questions or somebody I need to contact to talk to more about migration, is that just something I emailed to the church?
Yeah, that's something that you would email the church.
Okay.
Yeah, gathering as the number one. Gathering as one at AOL.
All right. And did you say there was supposed to be a Sabbath class tomorrow? You said you didn't know.
Well, the sister was talking about Gabar Yashala, the afternoon class. She wasn't sure if he was going to do his. I'm not 100% that there'll be one tomorrow for the morning with Ricard and Lawyer, but I'm thinking that they probably would come on. It just, I don't know what they have planned. I don't know if they're going to be out camping or in booths or whatnot. I don't know if they're going to be doing that or if they'll be busy. But I just put it out there just in case, to be on the lookout if they do have it.
Okay. Oh, one more quick thing. Also, for the Feast of Tabernacles, is it? I know it's supposed to be treated obviously like a holy day and like another Sabbath week. Not supposed to be working that day.
Right.
Is it okay to buy or sell if that's not sell, but buy particularly if it's according to setting up food for the feast? Is that lawful?
Yeah, that's where Christ said it's okay to do good on the Sabbath, because if you're doing it for the feast, then it's for the good of the feast. So that's where grace will come in to cover you on that. And just for brothers and sisters' sake, I always tell them that we have 6 days to operate and get things done. Just try to do your best to get everything done before the end of the week. That way, you don't run a situation where you're like, oh man, I don't want to buy or do anything like that on the Sabbath or on a feast day. But if a situation arises, an emergency situation, or you forgot or something like that, then hey, there's grace there. Hey, I'm finna celebrate the Most High's feast. I don't see how he's going to be mad at you for keeping the feast by doing whatever you have to do as far as whatever you got to buy. So that's grace.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that, brother. That's pretty much all I have. So you enjoy the feast, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, you do the same. Thanks for calling in. Bless you, and Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
All right, and the next caller we have the 510 area code. 510, Shabbat Shalom. You are on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hey, Shalom, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I just this is Brother Mike. Actually, I was just making a quick comment about what you had said about the whole how those false flags. You know what I'm saying? How you don't really see anything. They had 2 shootings in Times Square. I don't know if you heard about it. Involving, I think one was involving a black man that had shot him 16 times. He had a knife. And then
in the
the
past,
other one,
or are you talking about like today, or are you talking about in the past?
In the past, I think the one with the knife happened like a month ago, I think, and then one just happened no, actually there was the one with the knife I think happened 2 months ago, and then one with this other guy, he got shot No, I'm sorry. They didn't shoot him. They shot at him, but they ended up shooting 2 other people that wasn't even involved in the situation. And it's like,
right.
I was basically bringing this up to show the difference between those two, because those 2 situations did happen. They did kill the guy that had the knife, and then, the guy that was, flipped out or whatever, they did shoot 2 people. But the difference was between that, because both of those incidents were filmed, and you could tell the difference between those 2 incidents being real, as in, the response level, and also the way the people around were acting. And then from what they show in these quote-unquote videos of this terrorist attack, like everything looks controlled in those environments. If this is a mall full of people, where all the chaos and just random stuff happening? Like, you didn't really see that. You know what I'm saying? Everything almost seemed deliberate.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing's controlled in a populous situation. There's going to be people running all over the place, people screaming, people, you know what I'm saying? That particular situation just looked so controlled and so isolated, it wasn't even funny.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, it's a definite difference between, that situation and, what's really happening out there in the world. It's crazy, man. Like, they're really, really turning it up right now, man. I mean, anything they can do to sell this war on Syria and also to put in, like you were saying, to put in that agenda with adding black people to the list of terrorism. And they got that new Tom Hanks movie out. You catch that one with the Somali pirates?
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. So they're really amping this Somalian thing. And really, Somalians, even though they're black, they're not our people. Somalians are Hamites.
Right.
They're Kush. They're Kushites. So they're not even Israelites. But of course, they'll group all black people together. Well, you're from Africa, they're from Africa, so y'all are related, or y'all the same people. We're not.
Right. I mean, it's crazy, man. I just can't stop to think. Something I'm thinking about it. I think the next thing they're gonna do is they're gonna try to rekindle some like Black Revolutionary Party type stuff, and then do a bombing, and then blame it on that particular group.
That's definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, we already see what they're doing, so. I like
with the Trayvon, because you see with the Trayvon Martin thing, you already see they pumping up the racial divide. They already got that cooking, and the feeling towards police and everything like that. So now they there's a lot of revolutionary groups coming back into the fold in the black community because of all the dumbing downness of the music and everything like that. A lot of black people are like, yo, we're asleep, we need to wake up, blah, blah, blah. So why not make a bombing or something or some type of incident in the United States and then blame it on, these black revolutionists that are trying to resurface in these communities?
Well,
I think that's what they're trying to do.
They were looking to come out with that movie Asher, so, hey, who knows? Any day now that movie could pop up and, hey, it's always a possibility. We see how everything's shifting, so we'll just wait and see what they're gonna do. We know that they're coming after us, so they definitely gotta put us in a certain light to make us look like terrorists. So the whole world. I mean, not like we already have it bad enough where we pretty much hated on and despised by the other nations already, but let us become the new terrorists of Al Qaeda or whatever type of terrorist group they want to, call us, and see how much hate we really, have. Even our own people will be turning us in. Like, okay, well, I'm not with them. I'm black, but I'm not with them. Let me turn this such and such in. So that's why the scripture says they shall give you up to be in front of governors and kings to be afflicted. So Christ already warned us what was coming.
Yeah. That's right. That's all I wanted to say, brother. I hope you have a good feast and everything like that. And I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to, the whole congregation and all the, GOCC members all across the world. And, stay up and stay focused.
All right, most definitely. Thanks for calling in. Hey, do the same. Have a blessed Tabernacles and Sabbath.
All right. Shalom.
All right, shalom. All right, next caller we got the 202 area code. You're on the air.
Shabbat shalom, brother. How you doing?
Hey, Shabbat shalom. I'm well. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. I mean, for the most part, I'm calling from front porch of Babylon, Washington, D.C.
Okay, so your ground level there in FEMA Region 3. You can probably tell us, anything that you're seeing out of unusual with what's going on there with everything.
Well, I called. It was about maybe 2 months ago. I spoke with you, and I was just telling you that there's an unusual amount of police in the streets here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ever since then, ever since what happened on the 16th, that has increased even more. It's just like now they have a reason to justify so much police on the streets. And I mean, we already see that. Okay, they're putting on a new face on terrorism right now. And it just so happens to be that the new terrorists look like me and you.
Right. Real quick. I can hear you, but you sound far away.
All right, hold on 1 second, brother. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me turn my Bluetooth off. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, my fault.
So now walking around, I mean, I know if the people weren't already looking at us funny, I know after this situation, they really scared of us and looking at us funny. And like, okay, is he going to pull a gun out? Is he going to go Aaron Alexis on everybody here? It's just like, for whatever reason, it sticks to us. But when you have these white terrorists that go crazy and kill people, like what is his name? Adam, the Holmes guy.
Okay.
In the Batman massacre. In the Batman massacre, and then you had the other guy in the Sandy Hook. It's like nobody really has that impression when it comes to like other races, or at least not white people, but when it comes to like us or Arabs, we have a certain stigma on us. Like, what are they going to do? But more so with us, because we were already, people were already scared of us just by walking by us on the streets, holding their purse close, doing things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, and I had to Google this morning. I'm probably gonna put it on my Facebook page. That on the 16th alone, like there were 3 homicides in Atlanta. There were like, I think, over 6 in Detroit. There were over 10 that got shot and 1 died in Chicago. And what was the CNN, MSNBC, Al Jazeera, BBC, and all them other networks, covering those homicides,
Exactly.
All just as tragic, but at the same time, this one dude kills 13 people, and the whole world is watching.
Right.
And this received, and it's still, I mean, it's on the 27th, and that's still the number 1 news topic. Now they're talking about how this dude was crazy. He had been hearing voices in their head, and how they're trying to dismiss that. That's a story that people need to believe.
Right.
I mean, mind control, psychotropic drugs, all that stuff. We face mind control. I mean, all of us are victim under mind control every single day. It's called advertisement. And
the media, because whatever they're putting in the news is what they want you to think. So of course they're going to push the stories they want, so it'll have an effect on your psyche.
Right. Exactly. Now, I mean, now here's my personal take on that whole Navy Yard thing. Okay, my bank is Navy Federal Credit Union, and hear me out for a second. Up until recent times, there were only 3 branches in the D.C. area. Okay, There was one in Crystal City, Virginia. There was another one in PG County right across the D.C. line, and one in the Navy Yard. I used to go to the one at the Navy Yard because that's where the train used to take me. Okay, it was easier to get to. But in order to get in that particular branch, I had to call the bank 24 hours in advance just to get on base. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, when I get there, it's at the main gate, at the entry gates for civilians. It is civilian contractors, running security right there. But I always carry my backpack, and they had to physically touch my ID, and they had to go through my bag just to go to a bank. Now, how is it that this dude actually got a shotgun in? Got a shotgun on that base, and caused all this to happen?
Shotgun, a handgun.
They say he took the handgun from a cop.
Okay, that's right.
So,
that's right.
But even still, there's no way in the world. Now, of course, this is just my opinion, but I don't see it possible. As many times as I went to that bank, just to go to a bank, and I had to go through that security checkpoint. How is it that this dude is going to walk on base with a shotgun? And they say that he broke it down in pieces. Man, really?
Right. Maybe you can tell me more, because on the video footage it shows his car driving to like an underground or like a garage to park. So I don't know, they let cars come in also?
Yeah, they let cars come in, but it's like when you go through the gate, the security runs a mirror underneath the car. So and they're checking in the car. Probably not as extensive. You understand what I'm saying? But there is a checkpoint. Now, as far as the building that he went to, I'm not familiar about getting into those buildings, but I would imagine, because all the top secret information that goes on at the Navy Yard, dealing with the military, there's some type of checkpoint inside the building itself. So just because of the type of facility that place is. So, I just find that whole story hard to believe, and they're kind of shying away from that side of the story, how he got the gun there or anything like that. Now they're just, what the media is pushing out now, his mental state. He's delusional. Oh, you heard voices. Yeah, he heard voices, and they told him to do that.
Exactly. So, he was under that Manchurian program.
Exactly. So, this is it, man. This what I find disturbing, especially in this area right here, everybody's still asleep, and they're just really not really paying attention to what's going on. I think the brother that just called before me, he had mentioned the whole Trayvon Martin thing, and I'm looking at that from a different perspective now. My personal take on that, I think that was just a barometer to see where Jacob is.
Exactly. See what we would do, and
Right.
Yeah.
Because not justifying the civil rights riots or even the Rodney King riots, but when we saw injustice happening with our people, there was a time that we stood up and shouted.
Right.
And they tried to incite riots in certain places, especially out in California, after the Trayvon Martin verdict was rendered. But what we do? We ain't did nothing. That was a barometer. So they figured, again, this is just my take on it. I think they're using that to see, okay, we can run the full court press on them now. They really
exactly.
They got Obama in office. They signing up for the health care death certificate, and they gone. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, and the word I'll use, the term I'll use for these type of situations, I always say beta testing. All these are beta tests for something much larger to see, okay, they'll do this test over here to see how people respond. They'll take the data down, they'll put it in. Okay, we got that. All right. So all of this is a we know they're spying. They've been spying. All right.
Right.
They're trying to gather as much information about us through these spying mechanisms and these beta tests. So when they unleash this thing, they'll have the most complete upper hand to bring you into complete submission.
Right.
Have you tap out? Give me that mark.
Right.
Give me that. I need that.
And see, that's why it was important for them to kill our leaders back in the day. Because, okay, we knew what Dr. King was initially preaching, and we knew what Malcolm X was initially preaching, but, they changed the story shortly before the time they died. As a matter of fact, that's probably why they did die, because they realized who we really were. So they had to get rid of that. You understand what I'm saying? So the true powers that be, they know who our God is. They know who our real power source is. And through adversity, we'll link back up to him by default, just like we did in Egypt. And they don't want that to happen. So they'll send different tests out there to see if are we going to stand up? Are we going to roar like a lion? Who shall rouse Jacob up? Judah up? Or are we just going to lay down? And just my take on it, I think another few more false flags is going to happen. But that Trayvon Martin thing, I definitely think that was a barometer, or like you said, a beta test to see where we are.
Like you said, they tried the half-court press or the half-court trap. Now they about to go full-court press. Right. On the side note, and I'm going to let you go. There's probably some more callers after me. Here's my overall concern. How do you deal with your blood family that won't see it? They looking at you or looking at me like I'm crazy, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a big conspiracy theorist. And questioning the fact that, okay, like certain things are taking notice of, or they're noticing certain things about me. Okay, I made a vocal. I'm not doing the Sunday worship thing anymore. So that kind of stands out. Now, I came up from a church background, Right. And so my family, the Sunday worship thing. But now that I'm making this drastic change, it's hard for, especially my mother in particular, it's hard for them to, take root of that. But I'm trying to tell them, not in a way that is bad, I'm bashing them or anything like that. I don't see myself doing that. But at the same time, it's like real heartbreaking because it's like, dang, go on. Y'all don't see this thing. Right. So I'm asking you, you ever come across that? How you deal with it? Not distant family. I'm talking about my mama in there. Right, most definitely. What I'm going to say is the best thing for you is first to exercise patience and long-suffering, and to understand maybe at one point, we didn't know. A lot of things we didn't know and we didn't see. So the same way the Most High was patient and long-suffering with us, we have to also be the same way with our family, friends, loved ones, etc. Also, people are more willing to accept things when it's not crammed down the throat, and it's more so just more loosely given. Kind of just, hey, did you see such and such, or did you hear about such and such, or just bring up things or ask questions, and not so much trying to convince somebody, but just throwing little things out here and there. Because everything you're saying, as the scriptures are saying, will come to pass. So, at some point, if they haven't seen it already, they're going to continue to see things that you're telling them coming out of the scriptures. It's going to happen, and it's going to start clicking and registering in their mind, and hopefully through that patience and that long suffering, that you'll be able to gain them into the understanding. So those are the key things. Also, making sure that you walk the walk, that you talk, meaning that the things that you're saying that we must do, that you absolutely do those things, and to say the things you say that we're not supposed to do, you don't do those things, because if you get caught up in any type of hypocrisy, then they're going to have something against you. Like, you're saying this, and this, but look what you're doing. So a lot of times, leading by example is what they're going to see. A lot of times, it's not what we say, it's what we do. Just your actions and how you carry yourself and go about day to day. You don't got to say nothing. Just that in itself, and giving them that space and that liberty to see how you're operating, and they notice. They see, okay, he's over here doing this. Okay, they're going to be curious. Okay, what is he doing? Give them that type of treatment versus, look, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, and trying to, convince them. That's really from my experience. What I see, I feel you on that, because I never. The conversations always just happen to come up. It's not like I'm going over there to show them this in the Word or show them that in the Word. That's never been my thing.
You understand what I'm saying? It just so happens that each, and I think it's the Most High, but each and every conversation always leads up to that point. And it's like, okay, I'm saying to myself, I'm not going to say anything, but then for some reason the question is asked where I got to say something about the word. And that always opens up that doorway. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm always told, well, you just seem so angry and upset. No. you the one that's frowning. And it's like, that I don't know the God you speaking of. My God's about tenderness and love and joy. I'm like, okay, what about the judgment? So, I don't know, man. It's just...
And have those scriptures ready. Have those scriptures ready where, the scripture where it says the Most High is a man of war. The scripture where it says the Most High hateth Esau but loved Jacob. Those examples.
I hit my brother with that, man. Wow, that particular one right there. Jacob I love, Esau I hate it. I showed him in Malachi and I showed him one in Romans. And crickets. A symphony of crickets.
Right. Exactly. Because there's nothing they can say. So you have those scriptures on deck, and then also the scripture where Christ says, where it said Christ spoke with authority, where they think, Christ was this nice, passive guy. Christ was calling people fools. He was calling people hypocrites. He was ignoring people. He was speaking with authority. So if you can show them these scriptures and say, look, you may not be reading all this book, but let's get the whole proper context, and let's look at these scriptures that you may not be looking at here. And put that on their mind, like you said. When you brought up those scriptures, crickets, it's on their mind, and leave it at that. Hey, the word will speak for itself. You don't really got to say nothing else. What the word says, and leave it at that.
Right. Okay. All right. And this, for lack of a better term, this uneasy. Like I'm just now leaving my mama's house, so one of these conversations just happened. So this feeling that I'm feeling right now, I mean, I know it's gonna pass away, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I just feel sorry for him. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, sad, and to see our people and you're trying to reach them and they're not listening. One thing I will say is that is a worldly and a carnal, feeling, should I say, when it comes to family, because we know what the scriptures say, who our true family are, those who do the will of the Most High, the Father. Yeah. So those are people we have closest relationships with, and who we know the most and the best. But they're there in place to bring us into the world. From there, our real family are those who do the spiritual things and not the fleshly things. Okay, because they are my flesh. Flesh and blood shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So that flesh means nothing. It's the spiritual side we should be looking at. I know that's hard sometimes because of the emotional and the relationships that we have with them. But when Christ, pretty much didn't recognize his family at all when they brought him to him, that should be a barometer for us to say, okay, Christ is making a bold statement here, saying, who are they? I'm saying, okay, well that's fine and dandy that they're related to me from the flesh side, but if they're not spiritually in this thing, I don't know who they are.
Gotcha.
That flesh thing, you see what I'm saying? That flesh thing is a whole, and it's hard because, that's the difference between the flesh and the spirit. When the scriptures tell us to worship the Most High Spirit and truth, a lot of times Babylon has done this to us, coming up in the world has done this to us, where we get caught up in the fleshly and the worldly things, and it's because we've been conditioned. It's just more of that conditioning and more of that what we have to come out of, and that transforming. The scripture says that we'll be transformed into the spiritual side. So it's still, more that just, that you can say, okay, it's just, more that I have to continue to work to get to that point to where, eventually, hey, if it is not the Most High's will, you can deal with it and move forward. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
You're already prepared to deal with that versus a lot of people, Christ said, remember Lot's wife, they're going to look back and they're going to let family be a stumbling block to them not making it to the kingdom.
No, that's, something like that's a good example. Lot's wife, man.
Just saying. What was that?
No, I said that's a good example. The whole thing with Lot's wife.
Exactly. Because remember, when a man and woman come together, they become one flesh. So that's deeper than mom and dad.
Right.
It's a whole other level. One flesh. That's your wife. That's your rib. So
okay,
we have to get to that level of not even being attached to that. If their spouse, if your spouse is going to go off and not listen to the Most High, don't get caught up in your spouse's mess, even though y'all are one flesh. So that's a whole other level than family or mom and dad. So it's just more of that continuing to be persistent in meditating in the scriptures and the precepts, so that we have it ingrained in our mind and our hearts.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, appreciate it, brother.
All right, well, you're definitely welcome. And as always, thanks for calling in, supporting the show. Have a blessed Tabernacles. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Let me see here. We got... Got the 248 area code. You're on the air.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hey,
I have
Shabbat
a couple
Shalom.
questions. My first question is, I'm getting confused, like with the feast days. Are we supposed to prepare our meal like the day before, the same as we do with like just with regular Sabbath, or do we do that on that day, like during the daytime?
Now, what you want to do is you just want to have all your stuff together, if possible.
Okay.
If you can get it all during the week and just have it all, prepared as far as everything cut up or whatnot, and then when it comes time for cooking, there's not a scripture that says you can't cook on the Sabbath. So we always cooked on the Sabbath, but we weren't out hunting animals and skinning them on the Sabbath. Everything was already set up and prepared, so all we had to do was just cook the meal and eat.
Oh, okay. So it's okay to cook just as long as everything is already there.
Yeah. You want to, have everything set up, and not have to actually, go out and do the work that it takes to get everything together. It's already together. All you got to do is just, put it in the oven or cook it, and it's done.
Okay. So then it's okay, like I know, like in the past I've heard like the Jewish people say they don't turn on like the oven. It's already on. Do we do the same, or is it okay to turn it on?
Well, if you look at it, of course we're living in a different time than the times of old. The times of old, so we have to understand this, keep this into proper context. In the times of old, they had fires.
Right.
That fire was going nonstop. They would always have wood on deck, to where when the fire got low, they would just throw more wood on. They would keep that fire going all through the Sabbath. And at some point, when you read the scriptures, especially like the Passover, you'll see them. They cooked the meat on the Passover, on the day, the night. So they were cooking. You'll see that there was cooking being done on the feast days. So for us, of course, we don't have fires. We're not using that type of way of life, but we do have ovens and things like that. So in a similar fashion, just turning the oven on is not breaking the Sabbath. You turn the oven on, you broke the Sabbath. No, it's not. You going out and collecting sticks and collecting twigs and things to put in the fire whenever you should have had that already done before the Sabbath. Now that would be breaking the Sabbath. But again, let's say something happened where the wood got wet and you had to go get more wood. All right? So we have grace on the Sabbath to do good. If you're preparing for the feast and you have to get this in order to have the feast, that's where grace comes in.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So
right.
That's a good question. That's a good question, and we just have to keep in mind that the Most High wants us to keep the feast. He wants us to keep the Sabbath. So He's not going to make it to where we have already society puts it in place where it's almost impossible to do it because of work and things like that, the way our lives are set up. So
Right.
if you're putting forth the effort to do it the best you can, that's what the Most High is looking at, not the fact of, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that. We have to just put forth the effort as best we can, and if we have an opportunity to do something during the week, then let's get it done in the week and not wait until the Sabbath to say, okay, I'm going to do everything on the Sabbath. You see what I'm saying?
Right, okay. And then just two quick questions. The first one is, do you have to be baptized by the church to be considered a part of the church?
Like if you're already baptized?
Right.
No, if you're already baptized and if you are older than 12, then you've been baptized.
Okay. And then my last question is, I'm in Michigan, and I've talked to Brother Dale a few times in the past, but I know like when they have their Passover celebration, it's kind of far from where I live, and I have sent him a couple emails and I haven't heard back yet. But I was just wondering if there's anybody else in Michigan that I might be able to connect with, because I like the way like in New York they have their service or class on the Sabbath, and I was just looking to connect with people like that, because in my family, I'm really like the only person in my house that's trying to live this way. Everybody else is kind of like doing their own thing, so it's kind of hard being by myself to,
Right. The only person I know in your area that's set up is Brother Dale. So that'll be the only person I could refer you to. I know as far as last time I know of, he's the person that's set up there. So, and I think of course. Have you been to New York? Have you been to the how they
No.
to one of it?
No, I've never been there. I just on Saturdays after Elder Ricard goes off, I just watch Elder Gabar as well.
Right. Well, I also understand Gabar has been doing this for a long time. He's like 20 years into the Israelite understanding. So he has a different setup. He has a little bit more at his disposal when it comes to those things. So, the more and the longer you're in it, everybody's situation is different. So we have to just, make do the best what we have, and be, I guess, I would just say, to be appreciative of what we do have, and not, how we would like for it to be, because it's going to come a point in time to where we'll all be together, and we'll have it exactly how the Most High said that He's going to make it for us.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll wait and see if he replies, because he did tell me that in an email that he had like a class twice a month. So I'll just see if he has a moment and he gets to that email. I'll wait and see where he's doing that at.
So you're looking to link in with them? You haven't linked in with them yet, or you just have a question?
No, I haven't linked in yet. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay. What's your name?
Stacy Nixon.
All right, 1 second. I'm going to send him a message.
Okay.
On Skype. 1 second. 885-36. It's Stacy, right?
Right.
All right, so I'll go ahead and send him a message, and you can also continue to keep sending messages also until you get contacted.
Okay. Okay,
all
so
right.
That was all I had for tonight. Thank you as always.
Okay, well, most definitely, we thank you for supporting the church and the show. All praise to the Father. Have a blessed Tabernacles and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, we have another caller from the 248 area code. You're on the air.
Shalom, Elder Lamar. This is Kamal from up in Michigan.
Yes, sir.
I just heard the sister come off the line. Elder Dale we do hold a class once or twice a month. And what I can do is I can try to get in contact with them as well. They're heading up for the Feast of Tabernacles today. I can't make it because I got to work tomorrow. But they're heading up for the Feast of Tabernacles and getting things prepared today. So they're in the process of doing that. So I'll get in contact with them as well. Okay?
Most definitely appreciate that. If you could just let him know to check his Skype.
Okay.
I sent him the message, the sister's information, phone
and the
number.
Sister's name is Stacy Mixon, right? Stacy Mixon. Okay, gotcha. And just wanted to let you know, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the Feast of Tabernacles, brother, and be praying for us here.
Most definitely. Do the same for us. Bless you, and Shabbat Shalom.
All right, brother.
All right, so it looks like that's all of the callers for tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the broadcast. Just want to play some music. Want to say everybody have a blessed 7th-day Sabbath, as well as Feast of Tabernacles Saturday night to Sunday night. Until next week, most high willing, we'll be back same time. 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 2 p.m. Pacific time for Friday night Sabbath coming out of Babylon. Brothers and sisters, stay focused. We will see Zion soon, and Kwam Yashala. Shabbat Shalom.
Mark 1 and 15. The kingdom is at hand. That's my message. Repent and believe the gospel.
The most important thing in the whole world, man, is not to defile your soul. Your body is a reflection of your soul and your spirit. The things that you do, it shows the condition of your heart.
Yeah, I guess y'all thought this Gentile kingdom was gonna last forever. Christ about to return, man. You better get your soul right. Get yourself together. Get your house in order. When he come back, he coming back for straight vengeance on all of y'all who done turned against his word. Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
First of all, you don't know the truth. You don't know it. You don't know the truth. Yeah. You're bowing down, praising the wrong God, but think you're gonna heaven. You think you're gonna heaven too. What you need to do is pick up your Bible and read what's in it. Then bow down and pray to the Most High and ask Him for some forgiveness.
The Most High is showing you that that's the only part of you that stands a chance to be redeemed. Nothing else, not flesh, the soul, your soul. That's the only thing that stands a chance to be redeemed. Heavenly Father, from what I can see, man, He does not play, Either be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, man. Or we're going to end up being nothing, man. He means that.
The kingdom is at hand. Believe the gospel.
He has man everywhere to repent, man. The focus is on your soul. It's on your soul, man. You as Israelites. The focus is on your soul.
Hence, y'all, the time is getting closer.
Did you even know that we're the chosen people? We're the chosen people. From Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it's written all through your Bible. Some of y'all got too much pride with confusion. Too much pride. That's why the Most High gave y'all a strong delusion.
Yeah, like it say in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11.
The people who will be restored back to the place where they were before are those who were created, predestined before the creation of the world, man. It's an incredible mystery, man. It's a great mystery, but that's what it's all about, man. If you are not in the process of redeeming your soul by repenting of the things that have defiled your soul, don't look for the Most High, man, to bring you back to the place where you were before the Spirit, before we got put into the flesh, man.
Believe the gospel.
It's as simple as that, man. You reflect the light or you're of the darkness.
The kingdom is at hand. Believe the gospel and repent.
A lot of y'all don't want to believe this because it's me telling you. See, it's that pride right there that's going to get you left behind. If you want to sit up in these churches and believe what these preachers telling you, but you paying them to lie to you. Just like it say in Jeremiah 16 and 19, surely our fathers have inherited lies, and that's just what did happen. So it's your soul, you know what I mean? So I'm telling you right now, what you need to do, you need to bow down and repent. Repent to the Most High and ask Him for some forgiveness for all your sins. And woe to you pastors out there. Yeah, like it say in Jeremiah 23, woe to the pastors who lead my sheep astray. That's just what y'all did to all these people at these churches. You lead them people on a highway to hell. You gonna pay for it. You better repent. You better repent. Unless you're gonna be on that other side of Abraham's bosom, where it's torment and hell going on right now. Go read the book of Enoch.
They don't see. They're just stuck, man.
And
none of the shepherds are pulling them out of the pit, man. And brothers believers ain't going to be, they're not going to be redeemed. They're not going to make the first resurrection because of it, man. It's as simple as that, man. Either you reflect the light or you're of the darkness. That if you really desire to go back to the Heavenly Father, go back to the place where you were when you were a spirit at peace, pure, virgin, and undefiled with the Heavenly Father in His realm, then you're going to overcome, man. You know, if that's the most important thing to you, if you can see that with the eye of faith, you're going to overcome, man. You're going to do it, man. You know, you're going to do it, man. You know.
Believe the gospel every day.
You know, if you're someone who has that mind to go back to the light, the things of the light, man, that's, you know, we're simply just trying to go back to who we were, you know. You know, that's all that brethren all over the world is just trying to do right now, you know. We're just trying to, you know, we're finding out who we are, man. You know, we're sons of the light, we want to go back to the light. Either you're born of the light or you're not, man.